Well, I came back home. I unlocked the door, come inside. Well, her and her friend sitting in the living room, Your Honor, and they got all these bags laying around. Something just told me, go in my room and check. So I went in my room, I checked my thing. I was missing $500.
His brother was there. That's the sole purpose why I did not tell him I was pregnant. I couldn't tell him your brother was there. No, I'm not gonna fix it, because I know how you react. This is how you react. I'm not fixing to have this reaction in front of your brother when I find out I'm finally pregnant. I finally get something from you.
I was dating one of her daughter's friends, and she recognized me. But like I say, today I'm here to find out if I'm Kiesha's biological father.
Brace yourselves. Paternity, folks, for a roller coaster of love, doubt, and unexpected connections. Because Ms. Brown and Mr. Rutledge were in a paternity battle over the one-year-old baby girl. Get ready for the courtroom showdown of the century.
Ms. Brown, you say the only thing that matters to you today is the future of your one-year-old daughter, Sanaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state you're here to prove the defendant, Mr. Rutledge, is her biological father because she needs two parents, yet he's seen her only once in her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are about to enter the domain of questionable romance, where these guys' relationship wasn't exactly a fairy tale. It's a saga involving cousins, brothers, and a daughter caught in the middle, and conveniently leaving out quite a few details.
Please tell me what your side of the story is.
Well, first of all, me and Ms. Brown was never in a relationship. It was only sexual relationship. I met Ms. Brown she was seeing my cousin, they was dating for a while. After they broke up, they split up, whatever.
Well, the doubts and reservations were running pretty deep over here. But no worries, because baby mama went on a long rant justifying all her actions. And boy, did she make good points. The judge, along with the rest of the court, could just sit there tight-lipped and listen.
Ms. Brown, you left these facts out.
Yes, I left them out, Your Honor, because they're not facts. First of all,
okay,
you don't have to pay for a morning after pill because everyone knows that a morning after pill is free whether you have insurance or not. So I never would say, can you pay for a morning after pill? As far as me having one night stands and all that with his cousins, if he felt that I had one night stands with his cousin or his brother, why would you turn around and have unprotected sex with me?
Moving on from that monologue, we jump straight into another one. Oh yeah, because the supposed baby daddy had the gall to question mommy's version. And yep, she was not having it. Discover the unexpected twist in the tale as Ms. Brown reveals the details of how she ended up pregnant.
Estimation, this was just a casual sexual relationship.
And that's all it was. That's all she good for.
Your Honor,
let's be respectful, Mr. Rutledge.
Okay,
Your Honor, can I just say this? He said that that's all I'm good for, but I must have been good for a lot because he used to ride his 9-year-old daughter peking gray bikes to my house.
Next up, we were about to step into the whirlwind of confusion and desperation surrounding the window of conception. The parties involved were drowning in uncertainty, conflicting stories, and questionable relationship status. The defendant's reaction? Priceless. Well, Ms. Brown was hardly letting anyone speak. But hold on, because now it was Mr. Rutledge's turn to narrate his version. The classic. He said, she said battle was going strong over here.
All right, so you told his sister first.
Yes.
How did that conversation go?
I just told her I was pregnant. She kind of was in shock and stuff, and she just let me know, like, you do know, like, if you decide to keep this baby, it's a chance that you're gonna go through it by yourself, because he does have multiple children. But when I told her that I was pregnant, after I told her, I called Mr. Rutledge.
It appears the sister was more involved than the baby daddy in this whole chaotic mess, and her presence wasn't making things easier as well. Her comments, accompanied by the vile statements of the defendant, were fanning the paternity flames even more. No words for the conversations these guys were having.
Mrs. Rutledge was there when I had the baby. She was there like every day while I was in hospital. She was there. She sent her mother pictures, and I guess she sent Mr. Rutledge pictures, and he called and he told her that he hopes my baby die and that he don't want my baby around other children. And that's something that came out of her mouth. Now she wants to stand here and try to act like she's the best sister in the world. But everything that I know that he said about me, mostly she told me.
Oh boy, the drama with these guys, it just kept heating up, and Ms. Rutledge was not done interfering yet. Nope. However, the plaintiff had her aunt on her side to back her up, which she did. If only things had remained calm and collected. Was that too much to ask for?
I don't yes, Your Honor. I don't expect him, he doesn't have to go through me to see her.
I was the one who told her she had no business dealing with him, being that he already had 5 kids, 4 different baby mothers. She already knew that. I'm the one who told her that.
But Your Honor,
I'm the one who told her to stay away from my brother, but she kept on communicating with him. So when she took it upon herself, she's a grown woman. I'm not gonna keep telling you anymore.
I understand your statement.
We have established that these guys had doubts, and they were standing by those claims too. So why not tackle this whole situation earlier? Why did they let things get this messy? Well, it seems the brother-sister duo had been MIA when that was supposed to take place.
I told his sister, I went down to our courthouse, I got the paperwork, and she said, well, I don't know if he's gonna go take it. And he never showed up to take the test.
He never showed up. Why, Mr. Rutledge? Why not take the test?
She never showed up.
It was 2 times that he was supposed. It was just recently, Your Honor. It was just, she just had to go to court again.
Hold your breath now, because the DNA test results were ready to be revealed. The tension was escalating, emotions running high, and the truth was about to hit like a plot twist. Who's the real baby daddy? Let's see.
Mr. Rutledge, it has been determined by this court that you are her father.
What? Now what? What y'all gotta say? Exactly. I thought that's what y'all had to say.
I apologize. I just wanted to know for sure, Jazz. That's it. Man.
But now you know, but you missed 16 months though.
You're right.
You been going through how you gonna make that up though? I don't care how you feel about me. You go through my aunt if you don't wanna go through.
I can make that up.
We are about to dive deep into a tale of family dysfunction. A daughter's $5,000 plea for emotional distress was clashing with a father's denial. Will the DNA results reveal the mystery or tighten the knot? Grab your popcorn, because here we go.
Ms. Barrett, you are suing the defendant for $5,000 in damages for emotional distress.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that the man standing across from you helped destroy your childhood.
That's correct, Your Honor.
You are seeking the results of a paternity test as well as an award of $500 for money you say the plaintiff stole from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Meet Ms. Barrett and Mr. Jones, a duo so defective they made reality TV families look like textbook examples. He claimed to be a dad. She insisted he's a no-show. But oh, the twists. From missed birthdays to funeral fiascos, their saga was dramatic with a capital D.
Ms. Barrett, first, tell me about your lawsuit.
I'm here today because I can't stand this man. He hasn't been there for me at all in my life. He was never there, never wanted to go to any of my birthdays. He claims he did, but he didn't show up to any of my birthdays. He claims he did so much for me when I was a kid. He wasn't there at all for me when I was a kid. My mom died when I was 16 years old, and I called him looking for comfort.
Picture this, a father doubting his daughter's lineage, while the daughter grappled with daddy issues. The defendant insisted he doubted her existence due to a mommy's teenage tryst, and so the suspicions began, and left the daughter feeling broken and longing for paternal love.
He didn't show up for your mother's funeral.
They passed away after my mom had passed away, so no, I wasn't going to go to his parents' funeral after he didn't go to my mom's.
So when you say you were experiencing severe emotional distress, Ms. Barrett, described to the court, how were you feeling?
I didn't have a mom or a dad. I had my grandma. My grandma raised me.
Moving on, the daughter unfolds her life, and we get a front row seat as we discover the sour notes in their relationship. Things took a much sour turn when Ms. Barrett claimed to be sold to her grandmother. Yeah, you heard that right. The harmony in their bond turned harsh long before the court stepped in.
Into my life saying this is your...
And what happened when you saw her, this child?
It shocked me, Your Honor. I mean, I was
and what did her
glad
mother
that she
say?
was, I was hoping that she's mine, of course.
You were?
Yes, of course, Your Honor.
Did Ms. Barrett's mother say she was your child, or did she say she may be your child?
She said she was my child, Your Honor.
Okay.
In this tangled web of familial drama, reasons for betrayal emerge. Ms. Barrett revealed her mom's alleged sale at 6 months, and Daddy Dearest counters with accusations of her mother's drug habits. Could this get more? I sure hope not, but you never know with these people.
And so that knowledge fueled your doubt?
Yeah, it did, and I wasn't home as much as I should have been, Your Honor. You know, I was doing my thing, but I always made sure that she had a roof, she had everything that she ever wanted, and she can't call me a liar about it. She's had more than what half of these kids in this world.
But not from him.
Oh, navigating this sea of contradictions was getting harder and harder. Bet you thought there wouldn't be any more shocking revelations. Well, you couldn't be more wrong, cause daughter threw another accusation at the father which was beyond comprehension, to say the least. Literally at a loss for words here.
Barrett, you say you live with Mr. Jones.
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
It was horrible. I lived with him for about a month. He was completely controlling. Completely. He treated me like his girlfriend, not his daughter. I was wearing a pair of Bermuda shorts.
What?
The Bermuda shorts, the long shorts, I was wearing those, and he claimed that I was looking like a
Yeah, Your Honor.
He wouldn't even let me wear them.
Your Honor.
And then he took me to the races.
Time to settle down the pleas these guys had against each other. Mr. Jones claimed to have been robbed by the daughter, and he had a whole story to explain the context of that allegation. And boy, were we all ears for that one.
She ripped me off $500. Her and her friend went out and bought new shoes, new clothing.
I left your house with my Uncle Stevie.
Tell me what happened, Mr. Jones.
Your Honor, I left. I had to go do a couple of errands. So I left them money to get them something to eat. So I was gone longer than what I figured I was going to be gone. Well, I came back home.
Oh, the grievances these guys had with each other seemed to have no end. As the climax got nearer, the daughter came up with more questions for the beloved father, and then the notorious girlfriend stepped in. And yep, you guessed it right. Ms. Barrett had a problem with her too.
Of a life, and she's selfish. Straight out.
He hasn't been there. He hasn't gave me. He should have been there to walk me down the aisle. I got married. Where were you when I had my 3 kids? He should have been in that room.
She didn't even call. She knows she didn't.
Did you call him, Ms.
No,
Barrett?
I didn't. Because the thing that he told me is if he was going to be there, she was going to be there.
How can I be there? How am I supposed to know?
Children.
She's supposed to have it at 2 in the morning.
The long-awaited DNA results were in. Finally, brace yourself for the bombshell, the reveal that will either shatter illusions or cement familial bonds. The truth lurks in the next chunk. Let's hear it, shall we?
Mr. Jones, you are her father. You were suing for damages of $5,000 for it was negligent infliction of emotional distress. I have to rule based upon the legal evidence presented.
In a real-life courtroom saga, faced with a paternity predicament involving a self-proclaimed playboy, a mother sought clarity from Judge Lake. The accused, Mr. Tidwell, sang the No Strings Attached tune, alleging the mother was trying to attribute her child to him.
Ms. Lockridge, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Tidwell, to court because he has refused to acknowledge your 10-month-old son, King. You are 100% sure he's the father and claim today's results will prove your case. Mr. Tidwell, you say you were never in a serious relationship with Ms. Lockridge and you were stunned when she told you she was pregnant. The timing leads you to suspect that baby King's father must be another man. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plot twist. The defendant played the role of a deadbeat daddy, denying the baby while giving it a name. However, when it came to assuming parental responsibilities, he was notably absent, leaving the mother in a challenging situation.
Hard to drive to him. He hasn't helped with diapers. He barely helped with any clothes, and it hurts. It's frustrating. He named my son King, and how am I supposed to raise a king, and he's not there?
You named him King, Mr. Tidwell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tidwell insisted it was merely a fling with no commitment. This did not sit well with Miss Lockridge, leading to a heated verbal exchange. The drama escalated with accusations flying in both directions. Mr. Tidwell dropped the bomb that Miss Lockridge had been involved with another man, raising doubts about his paternity. Undeterred, the mother vehemently denied all allegations.
She has another guy that she was sleeping with.
During the time that you were having sex with Ms. Lockridge, were you aware of anyone else she was involved with sexually?
Not personally, but we weren't.
There was nobody else.
We weren't.
Snoop, I'm not gonna drive. I'm not gonna ride the bus 4 hours.
We were not.
Take
in a
3 buses to come sleep with you if I got that in my backyard,
like
though.
It was just
really
sex. And
have you seen me though?
Judge Lawrence stepped into the pregnancy drama, revealing that the baby mama attempted to surprise Mr. Tidwell with heartfelt notes, sparking a significant paternity dispute. But that's not all. Mr. Tidwell revealed he impregnated another woman, prompting the baby mama to desire his child as well. Despite Mr. Tidwell's defensive stance, she stood her ground and unveiled the truth.
So how did you find out she was pregnant?
She came over to my house. We hung out. The next day, I see a piece of paper on my bed. I grabbed it, I looked at it. It was a note with a...
His father. He was the only one I was
Your Honor, I finally got something from him.
I was happy that I was pregnant, so I'm not gonna ruin that happiness by telling you in front of your brother that I'm pregnant with you when I don't know how you were gonna react, because every time I bring anything to you, you react all negative and I get sideways.
Revelations exposed Mr. Tidwell's questionable behavior. Even amid a complicated pregnancy, he was conspicuously absent and had made no contributions. To defend himself, he put on quite a charade.
If he got you pregnant?
I mean, he just got another girl pregnant 4 months prior, and I asked him, what you gonna do about it? He said, if it's mine, then I'm gonna take care of it. So next time I come over, heck yeah, I'm excited.
So you hear he got another girl pregnant.
Yep.
And then it made you excited to be pregnant?
No, when I found out I was pregnant, I was excited because I was gonna have his baby.
Because you loved him?
I love him. I have a lot of love for him, but am I in love with him? No, because he doesn't treat me the way.
Judge Lake, witnessing the ongoing battle of accusations, called in a witness, Miss Harrington, who alleged that Miss Lockridge was obsessed with Mr. Tidwell. However, things didn't unfold as planned.
Parenting, will you please stand? Step up to the podium. You are Mr. Tidwell's mother.
Yes.
What do you believe, ma'am? Do you believe this is your grandson?
She is very obsessed with my son.
I am not obsessed. I was in love with him.
All she talks about is how much she wants to be with him and how she's got a prayer closet at home for him. One day he's gonna be her husband. Well, you know, this is just obsession, really.
Both parties engaged in a never-ending back and forth, with the defendant claiming the baby mama left her child at their place to visit another man. She swiftly debunked that story.
I said, did you want to spend time with your son? Because I'm fixing to go take a modeling shoot in Nevada.
No,
hang out with my cousin.
That
she
was
just
not
dropped the baby
she
off.
She came to
I
visit
didn't.
and brought him to visit. While she was visiting, she decided to leave.
Yes.
Okay.
Not called. There wasn't.
During the visit?
Yes.
She just up and left.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
We didn't see her for 2
That's a
weeks.
bull-faced lie. I don't care what you say, bro. On my mama, bro. I told you.
With the relentless exchange, Judge Lake dropped the bombshell results. Would they bring happiness, or would Mama have to embark on more detective work? Stay tuned for the shocking paternity results.
Mr. Tidwell, you are not his father.
Are you kidding me?
Messed up, man.
I'm sorry, baby.
And to your whole family, I apologize. I have no idea who his dad is at this point.
We knew that.
I'm sorry, but I didn't
It's
sleep.
okay. Calm easy. Oh, just...
Oh, Ron, get her.
Oh, boy.
It's like a real-life soap opera, folks. Mr. Jones and his mom opened their crib to the defendant and her squad of 6 kids. But instead of a heartfelt thank you, she drops a plot twist by trying to pin her brand new baby on Mr. Jones. Drama alert. He's like, no way, not happening. He's even hitting her with a $1,500 lawsuit for housing and childcare costs. Talk about some real-life drama.
Her mother and my mother was neighbors. When she moved back home with her mom used to talk to her about me or whatever like that.
And then how'd this relationship begin?
When I first, moved home with my mom, I noticed him. She was like, this Mr. Jones, he lived next door. We started, just on a friendly note, hey, how you doing? We'll sit out, we'll talk, laugh, joke. I go back in, tend to my kids.
Now, Ms. Jones spilled the tea about how she made that call to the court just 3 days after the new baby's arrival to save her son from heartbreak. That's some emotional roller coaster right there. To decode all this relationship drama, the judge had to do some digging.
Ms. Jones, in your suit, the suit you brought today, you're suing for $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you say she owes you some rent money because she was staying at your house.
Yes, ma'am.
But your testimony, you just stated that you invited her to come stay with you.
She had
because she had nowhere to go.
She had nowhere to go. The bottom line, and I wasn't gonna leave her out there whether she had money or not, but eventually you're gonna get some, okay? I'm gonna look for you to...
Casual relationships are cool, but juggling 2 guys at once? That's a cliffhanger. Mr. Jones tried to lock it down exclusive style, but she chose her ex over him. Then, when it comes to the pregnancy, Ms. Milan claimed that Mr. Jones had told her he couldn't be a dad. Cue the dramatic music.
Like you said, I'm young. It's a big age difference. I started getting a little, I got a little, stressed out. You know what I'm saying? It's 6 kids, all boys, plus my mom, my two little sisters. You know what I'm saying? The house is packed. It was crowded. I got frustrated. I ain't gonna lie. It started to get to me.
Come morning, I have to go to work.
Here's where the doubt creeps in. Plus, that $1,500 claim isn't just hot air. They did take care of Ms. Milan and her crew. It's time for some payback. An investigation into their relationships uncovered a jaw-dropping twist. While she was crashing at their crib, Mr. Jones was rekindling things with his ex. Talk about relationship chaos.
She tells me
Right off
being
the bat.
honest, right off the bat.
It could be
She was
yours.
Straightforward.
It could be his.
When I found out she stopped taking the birth control, the first thing I done was I gave my son some condoms because she has 6 kids already and I know she's fertile. Use them.
Did you use them, Mr. Jones?
No.
I want to be there. I don't want to miss nothing. I want to be able to go back and tell these stories and say I was there doing this, doing that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Even when he was being born, I'm right there holding her hand, watching everything.
The big question is, why invite her over if you can't handle the pressure? Speaking about the pregnancy, Mr. Jones spilled the tea that he didn't put his John Hancock on the birth certificate because of the doubt, and his mom was like, "You do you, son." That's a plot twist right there.
What are your hopes, Mr. Jones and Miss Jones? Do you hope the child is yours?
Yes.
I pray.
We
Well, we've been taking care of this child since the day he came out, Judge.
I love him.
And I will continue to do that. I just want my son to be sure that this is his child. If he's there and he's saying, Mama, this is my baby, that means me as a grandmother, I'm supposed to step up and take up where he's falls short.
There's some serious doubt about that baby's parentage. It's high time for the truth to come out so Mr. Jones and his mom can find some peace, and that baby can have their real parents in their life. Time for some epic revelations.
Mr. Jones, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm right.
You okay, Mr. Jones?
I'm ready to go.
I'm sorry. I hope you will find comfort in...
Imagine strolling through the aisles of a store, minding your own business, and out of nowhere, a random guy approaches claiming to be your father. Bam! Ms. Chiesa found herself in quite a situation when the defendant casually dropped the "I am your father" bomb on her.
Can you tell me, how did you reconnect? How did you go from saying, I don't even remember a relationship with her mother, to reconnecting and establishing such a bond? What did I miss?
I was walking out of a clothing store. She was going in to the clothing store, and I just seen myself in her.
Yet, here's the kicker. Mr. Fleeton had zero recollection of any cozy moments with Ms. Reynolds. However, the twist comes when you notice the uncanny resemblance between him and her daughter. Talk about a head-scratcher. How about the plaintiff lending a helping hand in jogging his memory a bit? Brace yourselves, folks, for some truth serum.
I met him at a sex toy party, and he was the stripper.
He was the entertainment.
Yes.
Teddy bear.
Yes, and we didn't have any action at that time, but maybe a week later, we were at a popular club in our city, and he was there and he was dancing, not entertaining, just dancing.
Picture this, a young plaintiff with a stable daddy figure in her life. Suddenly, out of the blue, she's hit with a curveball, a man claiming she could be his daughter. Talk about confusion reaching a whole new level. Now, brace yourself as we delve into what Ms. Chiesia's significant other has to say about this bewildering situation.
So my daughter brought it to me, and I laughed it off, and I was, just laughed it off, and I didn't say anything. But after a while, it clicked to me. Oh my God, because if it's that noticeable, he have kids out here. What if she end up dating someone that could possibly be her brother? I need to contact him.
Now, isn't this one intriguing dynamic? Mama, you've got some serious explaining to do. But hold the drama for a moment. Before we dive into the deep end of revelations, let's unravel the suspense and see what unfolds when Mr. Fleeton, aka the potential daddy, pays a long overdue visit to Ms. Reynolds after all those years.
He didn't remember sleeping with me. And at that moment, I said, oh well, so taking it to my grave at that point.
So you basically were telling him to protect your daughter.
Exactly.
And once he said, I don't even remember you, you just said, you know what, I'm taking it to my grave. My ex has bought into the fact that he's her biological father.
Yes.
Just leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
Well, that information wasn't necessary. The question was, what were you doing in the club, Ms. Plaintiff? And to be real, no one seems to be interested in how you got cozy with the man. We are all here for some answers.
So, Mr. Fleeton, do you remember sleeping with Ms. Reynolds?
No, ma'am, I have no recollection of ever having a sexual encounter with Miss Mary.
But I'm unforgettable.
Well, do you remember her mating call? Hit that one more time. Do you remember hearing that one night?
No, ma'am.
Well, the past might be water under the bridge, Mr. Fleeton, those early years slipping through the cracks. But kudos to you for wanting to step up and be a part of the rest of her life, provided the DNA results play along. No more beating around the bush. Let's cut to the chase and unfold the envelope.
Mr. Fleeton, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Kiesia.
You okay? Yeah, baby. Should I?
I want to say this to you because you've been so strong and I appreciate your strength. I admire you for it. But I do want to let you know.
Ms. Carr's games dragged Mr. Johnson to the paternity court. Mr. Johnson said that he is tired of 18-year-old doubts and he wants to find the truth once and for all. But the defendant stated that the plaintiff has been dodging the DNA test since the day he was informed. Let's move to plaintiffs.
Mr. Johnson, you say the defendant, Mrs. Carr, has been playing an emotional DNA game with you over her daughter's paternity for the past 18 years. You've brought her to court to finally end this game and prove you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So the judge started with their relationship recap. It was revealed that they were not even in a relationship. Then how could they end up producing a baby? And why did she shove you, or the father, in the plaintiff's face?
Take me back to the nature of this relationship. You all used to be boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, ma'am. My uncle married her auntie.
Okay.
And they adopted her. I used to go over their house and help him out, like cutting grass and things of that nature, and I would stay the night, and they would allow us to sleep in the same room. We had sex one time.
However, from mother's testimony, it was revealed that she informed the alleged father about the baby, but he dumped her because there was another guy in the picture who was proven to be the father.
And at some point you realized you pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. At the time, I was young. I was just coming on my menstrual, so this was still new to me. So it was brought to my attention that my menstrual was late or it had not come on when it was supposed to. So I was taken to the doctor and later on determined I was pregnant.
Nonetheless, the plaintiff came across Miss May after many years. He told the court that he bumped into the baby and she called her daddy. But Ms. Carr acted cold even in this emotional moment.
In a grocery store, she runs up to me. Like, Daddy. I'm shocked at the moment, like, wait a minute, Daddy. When I tell you I'm looking for cameras to pop out, I thought I was on a prank show or something. Like,
how old is she?
She's about 5 or 6 at this time.
Your Honor, this is my first time ever hearing this story about the grocery store.
Okay, so let's hear it.
She run up to me like, Daddy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like...
Even after no DNA test and strong doubt, Mr. Johnson claimed to step up to the plate. But if he was there for the baby girl, then why didn't he have a father relationship with her at this age? He explained himself like this.
She's yours, you don't need to get a DNA test, and she looked like another family member when she was younger, and so I'm just full of emotion, and so against my better judgment, even without the DNA test, I started accepting Miss May as my child. I know that I need to get this DNA test based on what they told me in the past.
So to get an idea of what had happened all of these years, the judge called in Miss May. She told the court that she had seen her alleged biological father years ago, even though Mr. Johnson got emotional on her daughter's testimony.
I was not.
And so, when's the last time you saw Mr. Johnson?
Last time I saw Mr. Johnson was the 5th grade summer, was probably around 2010.
So you have not seen her or laid eyes on her?
No, ma'am, and she's extremely beautiful.
Yes.
However, both sides continued to put the allegations on each other, and all of the negation and neglect around the paternity issue confused Judge Lake, so she has to say this.
The next moment you're not, it gets really confusing.
I mean, it is amazing to me how much you all were doing. You did everything but get a DNA test. I mean, everything. And now, Amber is the one who's hurting.
At the end of the day.
Thinking you're her biological father, and you only showed up for a birthday party, and I mean, Amber, what was that like?
Well,
either way, both sides and the judge were hoping the plaintiff was the father, as if not, it will damage the young girl for her whole life. Let's see if fate will have mercy on them or not. Now it was time for the result.
Mr. Johnson, you are her father. How do you feel? How do you feel? Absolutely, honey.
Okay.
We came here for a beautiful young woman who deserves to know who her biological father is. And now we have that answer.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Morris is in paternity court to claim the paternity of his 29-year-old daughter. But the woman standing across the aisle is not ready to believe the plaintiff, as she believes that her mother has lied enough to her, and only DNA proof can put an end to the situation.
Mr. Morris, you say you are 100% certain that you are the biological father of the 29-year-old woman standing across the aisle, and want this court to put an end to years of confusion, lies, and doubt. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial begins with Mr. Morris telling his story about how he met the woman of his dreams at a dancing party, and they were together for 2 years. And even after they had broken up, the defendant came back for his daughter, but the mommy pushed him away like this.
But at the time when I talked to her, the 2 days I was in town to see Mrs. Smith, we had an issue, and she told me to my face that, no, none of her children were mine. So I left.
So how old was Miss Brister at this time?
I would say she had to be 5, maybe 5 or 6.
So, Miss Smith, you remember telling him that Miss Brister was not his child?
Yeah. Seeing things like these can easily stir up paternity doubt. But in the mommy's defense, she didn't want to get back with her ex. She further had Miss Brister believed that the guy on her birth certificate was her father.
My mom taking me to get a DNA test, and I didn't remember the results at that time, but I do have a faint memory of her saying that he wasn't my father.
You brought an exhibit for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
This is just a timeline of some of the things that she's told me over the years.
All these sudden revelations were causing turmoil in the defendant's life. It was hurtful and confusing. And when the judge asked Miss Smith why she had lined up so many stories, she confessed that she was doing so to protect her daughter from her father's style.
And how old were you when this happened? This started when you were how old?
This started when I was, I think, around like 8, 9, maybe 10, when I was told, when I remember.
When you remember?
Her saying that the man on my birth certificate wasn't my father.
But when the judge asked Mr. Morris about this, he told the court that he had no idea about any of the stores going around. Further, he informed the court that he was charged with the defendant's child support. However, Miss Brister seemed unconcerned about all of it.
I don't remember that. But if you've known that I was your daughter, it's kind of like, why didn't you reach out? Why didn't your family reach out?
Because
nobody said anything in all these years. So now that I'm about to be 30, you know, and here it is, you saying you're 100% sure.
By now, it seemed like that trio was stuck on a roller coaster of fate, and all of these years had gone by without the truth being revealed. So I guess it was about the right time to set the record straight.
Mr. Morris.
Yes, Shauna.
You are not her father.
What?
I'm very sorry.
Can I hug my daughter?
Absolutely. Is that okay?
Sorry.
You can stand with your daughter, ma'am. Miss Brister, are you okay?
I am. I'm glad to know. It's one step closer.
Is he or isn't he? The tension is tangible as Mr. Nelson's skeptical nature threatens to shatter their relationship. But today, the truth will finally be revealed as the DNA results come in. All eyes turn to the plaintiffs, eager to put an end to the uncertainty once and for all.
Ms. Harden, you have opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say, due to a misunderstanding, he is now denying your 2-month-old daughter, Sophia Nelson. You are certain he is the father, and once proven, you want his help raising your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial began on the note of the defendant was being irresponsible and careless towards the child, and he admitted all the plaintiff's testimony like this.
Delonte doesn't help me with anything. He doesn't help me financially. He won't pick up a diaper. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I go to the store. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I get in the shower. He walk past her like she Casper. When she cry, he be like, hey, get your daughter crying. Your daughter wants you. Get her, get her. He don't help me at all.
The pregnancy question was important to ask to proceed with the trial. Let's find out the side of the story of when the pregnancy news was revealed and how it raised so many questions like this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what happens when you find out you're pregnant.
At first I panicked because I didn't know how he would respond. He didn't seem like the person to want to have a kid. He didn't seem like a kid person. But, I mean...
That's true. So why were you having unprotected sex with this young man and you didn't think he was the kid type? And why are you following behind him?
It was painful to watch a grown woman cry in mid-trial like that due to the fact of being alone like this.
I didn't really have anybody. My mom died when I was 12. My dad's not in my life. My grandmother, she's not really there either.
Okay, now I understand what's going on. That's all right. We come here to tell the truth. And if that's your truth, you say it.
Yes, ma'am.
However, the defendant decided not to be easy on the baby mama, and even the baby girl's birth didn't melt down the ice shield of this ignorant man.
So take me to the birth.
He was semi there, I call it.
At least
when
I
I
was
started,
there. Okay,
but that don't count. That don't count.
A lot of dudes wouldn't even be there.
He watched her be pushed out. He waited for my daughter to be weighed and wiped off, and he told me, that's a white man's baby, and walked out of the hospital room.
Wow, how can someone leave such an important thing? And if you think that is too much, see what he did next intentionally.
When we were on the way to the hospital, I called him multiple times and said, hey, make sure you grab your ID. You need your ID to sign her birth certificate. He left his ID at home on purpose, bought an empty wallet.
Well, on purpose.
On purpose.
Same thing, yeah.
So, Mr. Nelson, you say you didn't sign that birth certificate purposefully because you have doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
There was another guy in the picture who could be the potential father. The plaintiff even had evidence to support their claim.
Okay, Your Honor. It all started, we went back to Arkansas, got our own place together. Around that time, her ex-boyfriend, John, and his baby mother, which is Rachel, at the time, didn't have nowhere to go, so they wanted to come stay with us. But that being her ex-boyfriend, I thought it was disrespectful.
After this, we got to know that the mommy was caught after sexual intercourse. Their equation was serious enough to raise doubt.
When we were going over that testimony, you were not vehemently denying anything.
Correct.
So you do admit that you were intimate with this couple.
Yes, I do.
And you admit you were intimate with them when Mr. Nelson left the house.
No.
Nevertheless, Judge Lauren asked Ms. Harden's ex about the baby's paternity. He denied, and he even brought evidence to support his testimony.
Do you think you're Sophia's father? That's what I want to know.
No, it's impossible. Yeah, now you don't.
So why
are you denying
are they
now?
testifying that you were on the phone saying, what are we gonna do about our baby? You know that's my baby.
I never said that. They're both delusional.
You never claimed this child.
No, actually, I got text messages and screenshots with Pinky texting me, asking me to take a DNA test for the baby because she thinks that the baby's mine.
Above all, don't lie to yourself. Judge Lauren had enough of their lies and pinning excuses on each other in a circle. But the baby mama denied all the claims this way.
All right, Miss Davis, thank you for your testimony. It was very enlightening. Now you say your husband, Mr. Patterson, said he's the father. Mr. Patterson, you say Mr. Nelson is the father. Mr. Nelson, you say Mr. Patterson is the father. Ms. Harden, you told Mr. Nelson he's the father and Mr. Patterson he's the father.
No, I did not tell John he was the father of my child.
Well, Judge Lauren articulated some schooling for all of them because they thought of producing a baby as a fun part only.
Okay, so here we go. This is a mess. I say this in this courtroom all the time. Sex is not a board game. It's not like Monopoly where it's better if you play with more people. It's not. It really isn't. It just gets messier. And at the end of the day, y'all just all up here arguing. So all this little sex and now we gonna have a threesome and now we doing this. No, that's not really how it works.
Let's see if that DNA envelope has something good for her or not.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Patterson or Mr. Nelson is the father of 2-month-old Sophia Nelson. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Nelson. You are the biological father.
I just want to say I apologize to you.
A serious medical condition has led to a paternity dispute that could shake things up. Ms. Fisher has come forward claiming that Mr. Stewart is the biological father, and she's not backing down. With a DNA test, the truth will finally come to light. Let's move to plaintiffs.
Ms. Fisher, you're here to prove that Mr. Stewart is your daughter Kalia's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state that your daughter has a serious medical condition, and it is imperative that you know the father's medical history. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren straightforwardly hopped up into the pregnancy part. It slipped out that the defendant is denying paternity from day one. But why?
Well, I woke up one morning, I wasn't feeling well, and I've been pregnant before, so I pretty much knew before I took the test I was pregnant.
And you immediately said, Mr. Stewart, this is your child?
I showed it to him, and his first reaction, it ain't mine.
That's what he said?
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Even after the denial, how did their relationship continue? Later revealed that he was dating her just because he was bored. That's slick.
After this is over, did the relationship continue?
Yes, he was just at my house like a week and a half ago.
I mean, I got bored. I got bored, you know.
You got bored?
Yes, sure.
When you get bored, you go over Miss Fisher's house and have unprotected sex?
Sometimes.
That's smart.
There was another guy in the picture, and he was Miss Fisher's first pick to father her child. The plaintiff even had some information to support his claim.
You stated that you knew for certain that Miss Fisher was sleeping with other men.
Yes, Sean.
What do you know and how do you know it?
Well, she named another potential father as the biological father, and then on top of that, another man signed the birth certificate.
Wait a minute. She named another man as the biological father.
Yes, Sean.
Well, this did seem a bit odd. What drags someone to court if you won't let them get listed as a father? Instead of telling a man to step up on the plate, calling him deadbeat, dad seems petty, doesn't it?
Because he chose to give her his last name. He did that on his own.
She just dragged my name around the town and stuff, man, telling everybody that I'm just a deadbeat dad and stuff, man. Come on.
I ain't said nothing about you. You don't want to be walking around folks come back.
Man, that's what you just out here saying, that I'm a deadbeat. I don't do nothing for her. I ain't got nothing
So the other potential father was escorted into the courtroom. The suspect claimed that the plaintiff is a compulsive liar, and she has done things like this before.
I'm not denying that I'm not her father. I'm denying because Miss Fisher, she always been lying to me, you know what I'm saying? Because we already done went through this one time with an older child.
What do you mean?
We started inboxing each other on Facebook.
It always starts with Facebook. Done it wrong.
And we started inboxing each other, you know what I'm saying? Then we got real cornered, you know.
However, baby mama continued her game of imposing possibilities on men. But Judge Lauren was irked, and she articulated some facts like that.
Have a sexual relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
And this happened before.
Yes, ma'am.
With an older child.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when the child was born, you thought it was your child?
Yes, and I was taking care of the child, you know what I'm saying? Me and my mom.
So, Miss Fisher, you told him it was his child?
No, that's not what I told him. I told him the same thing we're going through now, that it was a chance.
As the testimony proceeded, it revealed that the baby has got some serious condition, and it's vehement to know about her father for her treatment. Let's see this part.
The doctor says she has a hole right in the middle of her heart, and she has too much blood going to her lungs. And so in 2 months, they might have to do surgery if the hole doesn't close.
Oh my goodness. Do either of you gentlemen have heart issues?
No, Your Honor.
You don't?
No, Your Honor.
You don't either. And so finding out who her father is important to you, why?
And that is the part where things fell short. How could they be irresponsible and dumb in a sexual relationship which can produce a baby? Nobody should play around when it comes to paternity.
New beautiful baby, and then needing an answer from me that I can't give because I was irresponsible, and now her health may be affected because of that? That's not okay. And the reason why I'm going so hard on you all is because you're still up to it, and you admitted it in court today.
Yeah. Valid point. No child deserves to suffer like this. Let's see if the baby girl is getting her full-time daddy or not.
Mr. Stewart, you are not the father.
Oh.
Don't clown. Don't clown. Don't you dare clown in here. Miss Fisher, there's something going on because you're just giving your body away for free. You're just making babies. How many other children do you have besides Kalia? Two. Do they have the same father?
No.
Only one lie can shatter trust forever, and then no matter how hard you try, there is no going back. Miss King is experiencing it firsthand because her boyfriend is refusing to father her child after being duped into a fake pregnancy.
All right, Mr. Porter, so then Miss King admits she lied and said she was pregnant. What happens? She tells you you're pregnant. What happens?
At the time, she told me she was pregnant, so I believed her. Decided, because I didn't have my father in my life, I decided I'm gonna step up to the plate regardless. So I was there throughout the whole everything.
So the guy stepped up to the plate, but it didn't go for long because 1 month after breaking the pregnancy news, Miss King walked in again with a pregnancy test, which made no sense. Nonetheless, the plaintiff told the court that she had no other option but to deceive the guy at the podium to make him stay with her.
Because you was really trying to get pregnant because you knew you had lied. Go on, just tell the truth, girl. We already know what happened. You worked real hard at that.
Yeah.
Because you had already lied.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you were pregnant, but he doesn't believe that.
No, he doesn't believe it.
Of course, he doesn't believe you. No day wants to be fooled twice, do they? The alleged baby told the court how just recently the baby's mama told him that she was in love with someone else while they had broken up.
Just last night, she dropped the bomb and said when you were off with the other girl, she was messing with somebody else.
Correct.
So, sounds like she was coming clean before she got to court, right, Jerome?
That's absolutely true.
Look, it's gonna all come out here.
It turns out that the duo had tit-for-tat tack on, and every time they broke up, both of them went back to their exes, which is just the right recipe to end up in paternity court, ain't it?
Okay, Miss King, you doing too much. I mean, not right now. I mean, Mr. Porter is standing over here, and I mean, nobody's perfect, but he's at least being a stand-up guy.
And I do admit that I'm wrong.
On so many levels.
That goes to further my doubt.
We do agree with Judge Lake. Such things can rough up doubts. And if you see messages that line up with your doubt, what other options do you have than just step back?
In the hospital about to have the baby. The other man responds, cool, is George signing the birth certificate? Miss King responds, no, he doesn't want to be responsible. Other man says, I will sign the birth certificate. Miss King says, okay, great.
It was just a joke.
Even if it was just a joke, guess what? It wasn't funny at all, and it most recently acted as a catalyst to your kind having no father at all. What's wrong with people today?
I agree, but it's not the father you choose because it's the person you want to be the father. It's the father that truly is his biological father. Now, you can, of course, have father figures. People can step in and play the role of dad, but I know what you're saying. You say you want your son to have his biological father.
There was so much on the poor defendant's mind with his infertility, plaintiffs lying, and another man calming the kid. There was no way out of this mess other than the DNA result.
Mr. Porter, you are the father.
Yes. I'm happy. I'm super happy right now.
You look happy.
Ms. King, I want to apologize to the way I carry myself throughout all of this. You know what I mean? I can't change the world, but I could change me and how I move.
In the episode, Mr. Muhammad has come to the court as he does not want another man to raise his child, while the baby mama is testifying that she is sure of him not being the father as she cheated on him.
And you say it's not his baby, Mr. Walton.
Yes, ma'am. I say that because during my conception date, I was having more sexual intercourse with the other guy than Mr. Muhammad.
And you were having sex with this other guy behind his back, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
After this revelation, Miss Walton told the court that Mr. Muhammad was no angel either, as he also has been riding the same train. But the plaintiffs claimed that these accusations were being made because baby mama wanted him out of the picture.
So how did you manage to sneak around with the other guy behind Mr. Muhammad's back?
Well, what happens is we was sneaking off to the hotel and having our, relations there.
And where were you supposed to be? Where did you tell Mr. Muhammad you were?
I told him I was at work.
All right.
She ain't at work. She ain't at work.
I did work because during my pregnancy, I was working 2 jobs. So Mr. Muhammad wouldn't even help me with anything.
The couple was giving out quite juicy details on the show, as Miss Walton had both men warped around her finger well, but Judge Lake was beyond this stuff and was more focused on the issue of conception.
Take me to the moment you find out you're pregnant.
The moment I found out I was pregnant, I texted guy and I told him I missed my period. Mr. Muhammad, during that time, who was living with me, got my phone, looked at the text message, and confronted me.
Wrong. That's wrong, Your Honor. What happened was I came home, she sleep, I looked at her phone, I started seeing a full-fledged text message about having sex, all that stuff. Y'all having a full relationship behind my back.
The judge even asked Mr. Muhammad how he found out about Miss Walton's infidelity, and he told the court that her woman had started getting distant, and when he checked her phone, there wasn't much left to ask.
In the beginning.
You stop having sex with me. Your Honor, I know when you start having sex with me, it's a problem. I know that. So she started to act funny, started to be rebellious, started to do funny things. So that drove red flags to me. I grabbed the phone, I started looking at the text message, I see the conversation between her and the gentleman.
Okay.
Still, after that revelation, Mr. Muhammad was sure that he was the father. He even remembered the date of conception. The poor guy pleaded to the court that the baby girl was a spitting image of him. But looks do tend to deceive, and then there was Miss Walton's test, which raised all sorts of doubt.
Miss Walton admits that she was having sex with both men, you and the other man. You weren't using protection with the other man?
No.
You weren't using protection, Mr. Muhammad?
No.
You were having sex around the window of conception with both men?
Yeah.
This is 50-50 no matter how we slice it.
Right.
However, the defendant claimed that the guy at the podium was just all show and no go, and that she had been taking care of her child alone. But Mr. Muhammad negated her testimony. Still, the fishy part was Miss Walton only considering one option. 11 Judge Lauren believed that it doesn't add up why Miss Walton acting until she let the cat out of the bag.
You to say the other man is your child's biological father unless you really believe that.
Your Honor, she gave
Honestly,
Brooklyn
I believe it in my heart that he is the biological father of the man.
She gave
and plus
Brooklyn...
the other man, he will be more financially helpful. He'll be more of a father to her.
Your Honor, Brooklyn got my last name.
He will be the man that will stand up to take care of his child.
So the episode where the mommy picked the guy with more money, she would just keep her real dad away for a comfortable lifestyle. Well, you can manipulate your way through life, but you can do that with DNA.
Mr. Muhammad, you are the father.
Yes. I told you, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, baby. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
Right now, you have 2 children together. Let's stop making this a fight. Do you understand?
Yes.
I feel like everything between you two is a fight.
Your Honor, if she can pay...
Mr. Muhammad, you got to learn when to be quiet.
Separated but still stirring the drama, Ms. Nazarini sues Mr. Rami for absenteeism and deadbeat daddy status. But the plot thickens as the defendant has his issues to address. Will this family feud ever end?
Ms. Nazarene, you are here today to sue your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Rami, for being an absentee father and a deadbeat dad. You say he has caused you and your 2 children much pain and suffering by never stepping up as their father. Mr. Rami, you claim Ms. Nazarene has done immeasurable damage to your life.
The trial commenced with a relationship recap of how and when their relationship began to suffer and sour, and we got to listen to how things started to go out of the way due to irresponsible actions.
Our relationship began to sour when I became pregnant, and
things had soured long before that. She's not the most easy person to deal with. There are definitely signs that were before she got pregnant.
When you say she's not the easiest person to get along with, what do you mean specifically?
Complete irrationality. The decision to be overtly angry.
Plaintiff has another argument to present against the defendant, and it kinda seems like he was a bonahid to Ms. Nazarene while they were together, and even after being separated, well, she proved her point like this.
He and I have had one incident where he stole $500 from me and had me and my baby in a car that had a steering column that fell. Okay, so for the time that we were together, we were artists, and I was young, he was young, and he was my best friend. We tried to reconcile. He never, to this day, he's not kept a job.
However, the fact that the baby daddy was irresponsible towards his children was the bone of contention. But Ms. Nazarene was not innocent either, as her arrogant behavior led them apart like this. This is what he said when the judge asked him about putting effort into raising kids.
What level of effort have you put forth to take care of the children?
Well, first of all, she decided to move to the other side of the country without talking to me about it.
Have you provided steady support?
Well, it depends on what steady is. No, I haven't sent a check every 2 weeks. No, I haven't. But when I've had a job...
Looks like the plaintiff herself is playing the role of lawyer and judge too. I mean, who on earth acts like this at a young child's funeral? I guess she needs to stop talking and listening more.
My brother's oldest child and only son just died. He just turned 21, died on his in his birthday month.
And I also called you when you told me that I let you know I had a $700 electric bill and your son needed to go to summer school so that he could graduate on time.
During
so
that
I don't care about your brother's son. You don't care about your own son. Why would I care about your brother's son?
So she was being cruel and selfish in text messages as well. Now I guess we need to figure out how someone can be an ignorant mouth breather in a situation like this.
During this time, she sends a list of text messages saying that it's nice to know that we care about the dead more than the living.
Yeah, let the dead bury the dead. I said it and I mean it.
Now, are these the text messages that you submitted to the court?
Yes.
Can you read them to me?
All right.
And I mean every last one of them.
We are sure happy to know your sorry, trifling family cares more about the dead than the living.
Baby mama's response is quite shocking. She doesn't feel bad or regret her words, even for the sake of humanity. What kind of human does this to anyone? Well, Judge Lake articulated some schooling words like this.
Weren't they in reference to them burying a young person? Did you say 21 years old?
No, they were
the
not
first
in
grandchild.
No,
yes.
They were not in what they were in response to. I had talked to him a week before that. I talked to him, and he told me that he was going to help me get my son.
This is how a continuous stream of scrap is going on between Judge Lauren and the plaintiff due to her unnecessary comparison and wrath over the other party, but she ain't gonna stop anyway.
About somebody burying someone that's
not what the message was about.
You accuse them of caring more about a dead child than a living child.
They care about all of those children because they're
unnecessary. That was an unnecessary comparison.
Okay,
listen. That was an unnecessary comparison. And let me tell you something really real.
The car part seems more important to them than to the main conflict. Judge Lauren wanted Ms. Crane to take her leg aside for a while, as her consistent nosy behavior was irritating.
The reason that it all really fell apart, if you want to know, I was taking the car out to Tarzana. I mean, even if you look at this,
I wish this car would go somewhere. What happened?
I would like to finish if I don't get interrupted over and over again.
Tell me.
I take the car out there. When I drop it off,
why did you get the car?
She
Ms. Nazarene, if I don't find out what's wrong with this car.
Plaintiff doesn't seem compromising, so Judge Lauren had to jump into the argument. Here, yes, we all accept the claim of the defendant. Ms. Nazarene is really difficult to be with.
Let me have another if somebody let me talk, they might learn something. What I also get from you, though, is part of what you said today is true. Ms. Nazarene is difficult. I ask you to let me finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. She's difficult, but I'm a mother, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to see the day that the father of my child tries to come up short for my baby.
Well, both parties needed to hear these words for their betterment from someone, and Judge Lauren honored herself and spoke about schooling and supporting things for both. Hope this will make sense to them now.
But I'm a mother, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to see the day that the father of my child tries to come up short for my baby. It's not gonna happen. If there's anything that's gonna infuriate a mother, it's for somebody to give a mediocre effort when it comes to their kids. You gotta respect that.
Plaintiff's annoying arguments don't seem to end. It's like things are swirling in a circle. She needs to have a reminder about her main concern, but it seems like their own problems are bigger than the one they came for in the court.
Well, I do not see reconciliation in this picture. No. However, I do see two people who I know are intelligent enough to understand this. You have got to love the children more than you hate each other.
I don't hate him.
You have to.
I refuse
and you
to
don't
hate.
even hate him.
I refuse to hate. He's a hater.
Well, you have
He's
to
a jealous
love
hater.
the children more than you dislike him.
It was quite evident that by now Judge Lake was annoyed by the persistent arguing, but did it stop the plaintiff from going on? No, not all. The woman kept on coming like Kraken on the loose.
You couldn't even feel.
If you know this man, if you really ever knew him, you would know, and nothing you say bothers him. I mean, I am looking at this man.
Him. That's why he got ulcers. It bothers him.
Nothing you're saying is bothering him. I'm gonna wrap this up because I can see right now this isn't about the kids. This isn't about the kids.
Good.
This isn't
Sounds
about
good.
the kids
Sounds
because
good.
this is about condemning him.
Judge Lauren finally dismissed her and tried to set things up by suggesting they shouldn't have a real conversation and just act upon the one-word answers for real. Otherwise, they may end up on another issue.
Always making sure.
Will you make that effort to see them tomorrow?
Yes.
I don't care if look, you're a writer, but don't write too much on the text.
Good.
Just
Yes,
say,
tomorrow. That's what I want.
Just say, hey, what time? That's it. Don't start an argument.
I don't.
Hey, what time? And then if you could just give him a time, nothing else, and then you just say, I'll be there, and then
I have my hat.
Insecurity can be a real marriage killer, as it puts the closure of everyone involved at risk. So, when Ms. Merrifield accused her husband of not being the father of her 20-month-old son, it led to a court case where DNA testing was conducted to prove paternity. The outcome had the potential to further damage their relationship.
Mrs. Moon Merrifield, you say your family is in jeopardy of being torn apart.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've dragged your husband, Mr. Merrifield, to paternity court to prove that he fathered your 20-month-old son, Kane.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
claim he's been denying your son since birth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant argued that there was a lot at stake in this case, as not only his dynamic with his better half was getting bitter, and if the DNA result will not be in his favor, the outcome will have adverse effects on his family.
Mr. Merrifield, there's a lot at stake here today.
My family is on the line. I have divorce papers here for 50%.
Let me see that evidence. Jerome, hand that to me, please.
You know,
you have the divorce papers already
Yes, ma'am.
filled out. They're just, what, awaiting execution?
I need to find out the answer if this is my child or not.
He always
Get some
results
help.
to that. Anytime we have a fight or an argument or whatever, it's always divorce.
However, Baby Daddy tried to explain his side about how things got a lot toxic in their marriage. He alleged that he caught Ms. Merrifield with some other dude. And yeah, you can imagine how unbearable it was for the husband.
And he always, just at the littlest thing, brings up divorce.
It's not a threat. It's, that's how I feel. The reason why we're here in the first place, man, I caught her texting some dude that supposedly was supposed to be her ex-boyfriend that was right before my two sons was
he did.
born.
Yeah, he
whatever.
did.
I've seen some Facebook messages from these guys, this person before. Well, it was somebody else.
Nevertheless, Baby Mama opposed his statements. She told the court that the potential father was just bluffing, and his testimony was nothing but a figment of his imagination. If you ask me, these blunt accusations are a little hard to believe.
He lets his imagination, his mind go off, oh, well, if you said this, then it's probably this and this. And if you did this, then, if you said this, then you're probably thinking this. And I know, guys, and, but it's okay for him.
You admit you were texting someone else, another man.
I did.
To support his arguments, Merrifield brought some serious evidence to the courtroom, which was really in his favor as it shows the false actions of his wife, and now she has to explain them in the courtroom.
Evidence of the text messages and stuff too. This is just one text.
I admit it to the text message.
From one person.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, if you read between the lines,
if you
read between the lines, y'all
Let's
talking
get some
about
order
being up
between
having
your
taking a
lines.
date, going on a date.
I want to understand this. You say these are messages.
Yes.
Up next, Judge Lauren asked them about how their relationship started, and it was revealed that they were childhood heartthrobs, but as time passed, they lost their cozy, heartfelt love, and their relationship got rocky.
He was in junior high. I was in
13,
high school.
I was 13, she was 14. I used to walk to school, pick up those little things that you blow, and you used to close your eyes and make a wish.
Yes.
I used to walk to school in 7th grade, and I used to see those and pick them up and wish like, oh, I love this girl. I wish I had a family and kids by this girl. You know what they say, be careful what you wish for.
Kind of feels like he is the patriarchal man as he has a double standard. He made his girl change her number, but won't do something like that when it comes to him. But at this time, it should go both ways, shouldn't it?
Still has his number. He made me change my number, but he won't change his number. And he tells me just because they crossed the line one time, they can still be good friends.
No, the reason why
because it's me, oh no, I automatically want to have sex with this person.
She does
And
it.
so
And
you
I'm all
two
type
are
of names.
in a
I'm
marriage,
hoes, I'm
but
this, I'm that.
functioning like
this.
You just dated.
Because their testimony was not helping Judge Lauren in inferring the real issue of their relationship, she hopped up into questioning the doubt part. But their arguments won't stop, and nothing will help their testimony.
Can you please explain to me the doubt you have concerning Cain's paternity?
Okay, the doubt that I have, the reason why I have doubt is I found her texting 3 different dudes. 3 of them she already slept with and she loves. There's her love. One of them is the love of her life. You know what I'm saying? Who she's in love with. If she's texting these guys that they love each other. If she's texting these guys that they love each other, she's supposed to change her number. She changed her number, then she starts emailing.
Okay, so we can say that his negligence and irresponsibility were the hurdle in their on and off relationship. But up next, what his wife admitted is also beyond the limit. Why would she do that while already experiencing wishy-washy with her spouse?
She don't do nothing.
Is that why you do enjoy texting or talking to other men?
He criticizes everything I do. Oh, I would have had this whole thing done within an hour. You're supposed to do it this way. I don't live with my father, never have. I'm a grown woman.
To clear up the mess, Judge Lake ordered the witness to step to the podium and explain what she knows about, but I guess she only knows how to start a war of words.
I have been with this little boy, this young man, since he was 14 years old. He still doesn't know how much I love him. He still thinks I try to come between them. I want my daughter to have her husband and her whole family together because she wasn't raised with her father. But he's too stupid to know that. He thinks I'm against him. I'm for him. Always for him.
Baby mama apparently revealed that Mr. Merrifield doubts the child just because he is light-skinned and has colored eyes, which he lied to get out of. But it didn't work as it was so witless and unreasonable to deny paternity over the looks of the baby.
I couldn't get pregnant for 9 years. I could not get pregnant. And all of a sudden, when we got back together, I got pregnant.
9 years.
So he said, yeah, he had a little bit of doubt. But when that son came out, because he was light-skinned and he had colored eyes, automatically, that was his son.
His first 2 children.
But I could have been messing with somebody light-skinned with colored eyes. Like, how are you going to deny this one?
She brought evidence of research to support her argument, but the defendant didn't seem to move from his point and showed disagreement with her points, which led to squabbling again.
Well, then you know what?
And I have the evidence over here that I did the research that over green and brown eyes, the brown eyes are the dominant trait anyway.
Let me see your research, ma'am.
And now they're always saying
he's always changing his story.
Always saying no. You guys are always saying that he don't got the eyes.
He's
he don't
mad
got
at me. That he don't look like me
I say
anyway.
that to hurt
He
you.
looks
I say that to
nothing
hurt
like
you.
me.
His words got on Grandma's nerves, and she asserted some new accusations of him being the father of another child. Even Judge Lauren had to stop and make them realize that they are in the courtroom.
So many times he had a
haven't even
possibility
said
of
the stuff,
another
the
child
that I got to
before
tarnish
this.
her. I
and
have
she was
not.
still gonna be with him.
I haven't.
So he's cheating on her a lot.
If you want
he's
me,
cheating on
she
her
cheated
a lot.
on me way more than I
he's
cheated
cheating on her a lot.
All right.
So
Bottom line is.
And it's not about that. It's about since we've been
Merrifield.
married. What's going on about
everything?
Nothing helped at all. They were still there from where they started, so the only thing that can help them are results. Time to get those results to save the baby from this paternity conflict.
Mr. Merrifield, you are Cain's father.
I apologize for having doubts that he wasn't my son, but if you can't understand from everything that's been going on of where the doubts are coming from, you're not perfect. I haven't even put some of the stuff out there, what I think of my doubt. No, I know, I never said it, but y'all trying to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not trying to make it seem like anything.
But I apologize.